Hello everybody. Here we are with our session 3 for our DITA class. This session will be about DITA fundamentals. In a later class we will go over DITA, advanced DITA, but this will be the fundamentals. This will be our third class. Some of the slides are a repeat from class 1. Sorry about that. And this would be an in-class session, but since we have the COVID-19 situation, this is going to be a Zoom session. This is a recording for an asynchronous version of the class, should anybody need that. As a reminder, we will have a quiz after this class. I will prepare you for that quiz, and then I'll let you take that quiz on your own. But our lecture today will focus on DITA topics, DITA maps, images, command line interface, installing the DITA Open Toolkit, and exploring easy DITA. Okay, and next week we will go over the deliverables. That'll be kind of an important one to make sure that you watch. So DITA. DITA is Darwin Information Typing Architecture. It's an OASIS standard. It is at this URL here on the OASIS website. It's an open standard that defines an XML architecture for designing, authoring, managing, and publishing content. DITA is a topic-based system as opposed to a document-centric system. It's a mature standard, broadly deployed and supported. DITA 1.2 is currently supported by tools. 1.3 is the latest version passed in 2015. We'll learn more about what's going on with 1.3. While there are many DITA success stories, there are some failures, and we want to, in this class, make sure that we don't step into those holes. The number of DITA topics and maps per output, their nesting and hierarchy usually cause complexity, making a content management system necessary. DITA operations require many roles, including information architect, writer, editor, system administrator, publishing specialist, translation coordinator, and more. So here's an example of DITA. This is rendered DITA on a website. This is a DITA data sheet. This is another view of DITA. This is a content management system. So in the left-hand side here, we have a few maps and submaps, and then the topics that make up that big document. And in this case, it's a data sheet that has about 200 topics and maps. So this is the code view. If you were to look at it in your text editor, you'd see that a map really consists of a bunch of calls to topics that link together to make that particular document. This is the code view of a topic. So in this case we have a reference topic, and it has some list items and a few other things. So what about this topic-based? What are we talking about there? So topic-based is sort of like the next evolution from document-centric. Before DITA and topic-based authoring, the prevailing standard had been document-centric. A really good example of an open standard that supported document-centric was DocBook. DocBook is an open standard. It's widely used and widely supported by tools. In DocBook, all the topics make up a single document that are in one big single file. So let's say we had a data sheet that consisted of 26 pages. This would be page 1 of 26 pages. A DocBook, I'm getting some warnings here from McAfee. DocBook XML looks like what we'd expect of a garden variety XML file, except all of the topics are in one big file. With the maturity of DITA and topic-based authoring, the mainstream is now moving toward topic-based authoring using DITA. DITA is an open standard. It's widely used and widely supported by tools. In DITA, all of the topics that make up a document are in separate standalone files. Topics can be reused across many documents. So in this sample, same sample before, we see that there are about 200 topics and maps. 60 topics and maps are reused in other publications, like the user manual, other manuals, and other data sheets. So topics are separate standalone files. So you might have a DITA map that refers to an introduction, which would be one topic, and key performance data, which would be another topic, and then other topics that would follow. So topics are reused across many documents. So let's look at this example. We have a datasheet map, we have a user manual map, and we have an instrument online help map. So the datasheet in this simple example calls on key analysis features topic, which the user map also calls. The datasheet map also calls key protocols, which seem to be not referenced by other documents in this simple example, but it also refers to the introduction, which is also used by the user manual and the online help, and so on and so forth. So if we were to look at that in a DocBook, document-centric view, we would see that the files are not easily shared. We have these files that are part of these topics that are part of a big file, so we can't really share them very easily. So the parts of DITA are, first of all, it's topics, and the topics consist of concepts, references, and tasks. And then there are two kinds of maps, the DITA map and the book map. The other stuff that is included in DITA that we won't really spend much time on in this class is the training and learning module, the glossary, and the machine industry module. So let's get into DITA topics. A topic is the basic unit of DITA content. DITA's scope is a topic's scope is a single subject. The topic is short enough to be specific to the single subject or to answer a single question, but long enough to make sense of it on its own or to be what we call a standalone unit. There's the generic or untyped topic. This is sometimes called the cheater topic. It's not a best use to use this topic. The XML looks pretty simple. It has the doc type definition. In this case, we refer to a public identifier which resolves to this topic DTD. The topic has a root element and some nested elements. The specific topics that we do use that are best practices, one of which is the concept topic. The concept topic answers the what is question. The concept topic should be standalone or provide an overview or background information for tasks or reference topics. But keep in mind the context of the concept topic is meant to provide for task or reference. It cannot be guaranteed to accompany that task or reference in all maps. All concept topics must be written to stand alone, to stand on their own. So here's a XML version of the concept. It's got a doc type declaration, it's got an XML declaration, it's got a start tag and an end tag, and then it has nested elements. The reference topic is another best practice. The reference topic is often called the just the facts ma'am topic. That's a line from the old TV show Dragnet. The reference topic should be standalone or show examples of a concept or a list of values associated with a task. Keep in mind the examples or values the reference topic is meant to provide for in the task or concept cannot be guaranteed to accompany that task or the concept in all maps. All reference topics therefore must be written to stand on their own. Here's an example of a reference topic. Once again, XML declaration, doc type definition, declaration. We have the root element, which is reference, and then we have the nested elements, which make up the content of the reference topic. And then finally, we have the task topic. The task topic answers how do I questions. The task topic is empowered to thoroughly document a procedure, but contextual and reference information should be contained separately in the concept and reference topics. But keep in mind the procedure that the task topic is meant to show cannot be guaranteed to be accompanied by the task, the reference or the concept topic. A little typo there. All topics must be written to stand on their own. So the task topic kind of looks like this. It's got the XML declaration, the doc type declaration. It has a task root element with nested elements inside, which make up the content. So we have our concepts, but we need to tie those concepts together to form a document. We do that with DITA maps. So maps are the mechanisms in DITA that enable topics to be organized for creating outputs or archives. Maps enable order and hierarchy of a set of topics. Maps come in two formats, the DITA map and the book map. The DITA map is kind of the generic map. It enables links to topics. It enables links to other maps. It provides placeholders for metadata. The DITA map allows relationship tables that will create a dynamic information sets and enable linking outside the content of the individual topics. For this class, students will not be expected to know the mechanics of relationship tables, only to know that they exist and what their purpose is. So here's an example of a DITA map. So you've got your XML declaration, your doc type definition, and your root element, and then you have links in the form of topic references to all of the topics that you need to make up that complete document, and where they're referred to in the href attributes. Bookmap is a specialized version of the DITA map that provides specific mechanisms for adding book-centric markup to enable a turnkey book publication. The bookmap provides syntax for adding front matter and back matter, parts, chapters, and appendices, and book metadata. So here's an example of the book map in XML. XML declaration, doc type declaration, the root element with nested book metadata, in this case the title, and then a chapter, and then within the chapter are the topic references. So that's useful for making a more turnkey book kind of a document. And of course we have images. Images can be used, can be added using the image element. Point to the image file using the href attribute. If you're adding a caption to an image, it is advised to put the image element inside a fig element and to use the title element to add the caption. Okay. So here's a concept with an image. It's the same basic concept we showed before, but in this case it has a fig, and fig has a title, and image has an href that refers to this file in the content management system, or in the file system for that matter. Okay, so the entry-level way of processing DITA files at the command line is to use the DITA Open Toolkit. The DITA Open Toolkit transforms DITA XML source content into deliverable formats like PDF, HTML, or help systems. Nearly every DITA tool has a version of the DITA Open Toolkit integrated within its framework. The DITA Open Toolkit is here. The standalone DITA Open Toolkit is run at the command line. If you work in a DITA operation, you or somebody on your team will need to get involved with the DITA Open Toolkit at some point. It might as well be you. My editorial statement is your pay and the degree to which you are perceived as vital to the operation will go up. That's based on my experience managing technical writers and DITA operations. So in this class we'll be using 3.4. Beginning with version 2.0, the fundamental changes were made in the architecture. They introduced the DITA command, and they had less emphasis on the ANT command. In my opinion, this is a good evolution, but the evolution is not fully baked yet, and in this class I will walk you through the wobbly parts. So first thing you do is you download the DITA Open Toolkit at ditaopentoolkit.org. In our situation, we have it in the D2L resources downloads section. You install the DITA Open Toolkit by unzipping it and then navigating your command line to excuse me, you don't have to navigate to the command line. First thing you need to do is to make sure that you have a version of Java that's compatible. If you type Java minus version, you should see something like this. If you don't, if you get an error message, that means you have to go to download the latest version of the JDK. Most of the time, you'll be okay. So then at the command line, you will type some samples, some commands, and then you will get to the, you'll see some outputs. I see that for some reason, the version of these slides that I uploaded to D2L do not match the latest version that I posted, or that I intended to post. So in the background here, I am going to troubleshoot that and see what went wrong here. So I'm looking at my slide deck, and I see that I do indeed. Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll just go on without it. By the time the slides are uploaded to the D2L, they will have the correct version. But basically, this is the same routine that we did in class 1. So I'll demonstrate that. So what we will do then is have the Open Toolkit that we downloaded from D2L, and in that Open Toolkit, we will unzip it in our downloads directory in DITA 2020, and then we will get this DITA Open Toolkit 3.4.1. So we'll call up our command line, and we will change directory to desktop. And then we will change directory to DITA 2020. And then we'll change directory to downloads. And change directory to DITA Open Toolkit. Okay, so we've navigated on the command line to this directory. In order to make our operation, we will then type DITA. I'm going to take a look at the slides again real quickly to make sure I get the syntax right. Okay, I'm going to leave that here so that I can see it. It's not exactly, as I said, the slides that you will be using will have the correct syntax, but I'm going to have to just sort of make the corrections here in real time. So DITA minus R space doc DITA input. Okay. Just take a look at something here. Okay. Excuse me while I just check the syntax here. There we go. So I'm going to type, okay. So it's actually bin backslash, it would be / in Mac, DITA minus I space DOCSRC / samples / sequence map .bmap space -F for format. We're going to say HTML5. And then we're going to go space -0 for output. And let's put that in space DITA -test1, and we'll hit enter, and we'll hope for no error messages. So far so good. I did get an error message. I probably did a typo. SEQUENCEMAP DITA map. DITA-MAP. Let's just see about that. Let's see. Oops, wrong one. Doc source. Samples. Sequence. Dot DITA map. Okay. SRC, DOC / samples. Oh, those aren't backslashes. Aha. Oh, well, that's probably okay. Samples. SEQUENCEMAP. SEQUENCE dot DITA-MAP. Oh. Well, samples. Oh, those aren't backslashes. Okay. Source samples. Backslash. Space minus F space HTML5 space minus O space, call it just test, enter. Okay, so maybe those backslashes needed to be backslashes. So I always say, unless I make an egregious mistake, I'm just going to keep plowing through. This might be an example of an egregious mistake. First one I ever made, as far as you know. And we're, again, waiting to see if we see that error message. Okay, we did not. So that must have been it. It must have been the Windows wanted the backslashes. So if we look at our output, and we look at the DITA Open Toolkit, we see that we now have a directory called test, and it has output. We'll just go ahead and click our index there, and we see that we have our output, and washing my car is the favorite one of mine because it has this beautiful image. So it did work. Sorry for the extra cycles there, but it seems to have worked. So that was successful. And again, I will make sure that I have the updated version of these slides. So we successfully saw the output that we hoped we would see. So let's switch to content management systems. So you can, yes, you can theoretically do the DITA Open Toolkit from the command line, but that's really not practical. A content management system automates the output creation. So we have these the datasheet or the PDF file that are automated by the content management system. A content management system means different things to different contexts. So to web developers, content management system means a web content management system like Drupal or Sitecore or Adobe Experience Manager. For the enterprise content management system, in ECM, some people would think about that. In this class, and if you're talking about technical writers, they usually think about a content management system as being a component content management system. So why do we need a content management system? DITA operation is complex with many moving parts. Reuse and single sourcing, shared topics, maps, and images between output, shared topics and images and maps between outputs. Multiple versions of topics, maps, and images, multiple languages, and that can all lead to an overwhelming number of files. You know, as we said before, we can have one map that refers to a bunch of topics, or one manual that refers to a bunch of topics, and it gets quite complex. So let's illustrate this. Let's call this 26-page datasheet a typical datasheet. Here it is in its printed view. If we were to cut up all of those topics, we would see that there are 205 in this 26-page example. And each of these little scraps of paper represents the cut-up version of this datasheet that would represent a topic. So if we calculated the file density for a 26-page datasheet, it's made up of 205 topics, 23 maps, and 24 images. So 252 files are needed to make up this 26-page datasheet. That's about 10 files per page. So if we calculate the files to publish one datasheet and one manual for a website, let's say that there are 100 products on this website, 25-page datasheets, 150-page manuals on average. The average density is 10 files per page. 100 products with one datasheet and one manual each. The average number of languages per product is 6. If we do all of that math, we have over 1 million files on that to make up that website. So to try to manage all of this on a file system would be just more complexity than the file system could manage. So that's why we use a content management system. A content management system is an application that enables creating, editing, versioning, translating, and publishing content and output, usually through an intuitive graphic user interface, a GUI. The content management system manages workflow in a collaborative environment. So we talked about the component content management system. A component content management system is a content management system focusing content primarily at the granular level and secondarily at the document level. Each component represents a topic, map, or image. The component content management system manages versions of the topics, maps, and images, and it manages the relationship between the topics, maps, and images and publications. For our class, we will use a component content management system called EasyDITA. You will get an email from me that gives you this your credentials, your username and password. From there, you would go to this URL, and it would look something like this. And we'll talk about the projects that you'll do. But let me give you a quick view. By the way, it only works in Firefox. So if we were to go to that URL, here, and I will log in. Here. It'll take me first to the administrative page. So I want to switch over to the author page. And you will have an assigned place here in the hierarchy where you will be able to then create the data sheet and the user manual that will be part of the requirements for this class. And I will give you more detailed instructions on how to do that at a later time. So that's it for today's class. We will be going over the same stuff in our class, but if you weren't able to attend that class, this video is available for you. Thank you. Have a great day.